it seemed to become quite a habit for me to film really early morning Sunday, so the lighting is as it is at this point. Hi, I'm Nikki Starr and welcome back to my channel. It is October, which means in the writing community it's Preptober for NaNoWrimo. So I thought I would do a little NaNoWrimo video. What is it? My experience with it, my plan for this year, and some tips. And I'm gonna say tips like that. I might say this multiple times throughout the video, but there are no universal NaNoWrimo tips. However, NaNoWrimo is a great time to pick up some writing advice and try it out. So we're going to go through a couple that I think are worth giving a shot. The other thing that I wanted to do today, until maybe 9 months ago, I wore makeup every single work day and most weekend days. It was just something that I always used to just enjoy doing and put all my face on. I went through a period just before lockdown of sort of maybe 2 or 3 months where I didn't wear it to work every day, and now in lockdown I think I've worn it like 4 times and I miss it. So what I was thinking is would kind of combine the NaNoWrimo Preptober work with the idea of like October being the spooky month, because I think this video will go out kind of close to Halloween. So I'm going to put some makeup on and I might go a little bit vampy, like a little bit dark, maybe some reds and some blacks. If you've watched my Sims videos, you'll know this is my general aesthetic anyway. Halloween just means I'm allowed to wear it outside. So I will preface all of the makeup I do by saying I've not done it regularly in 9 months. So please don't come for me in the comments saying how bad it is. I know it's gonna be terrible, but it's gonna be fun, and that's what I'm going for in this video, because that links back very, very nicely to NaNoWrimo. It could be terrible. It very well may be terrible, but it should be fun. You would have thought as well that I would have been prepared, but I'm not. This was an idea that came to me literally last night. So first things first, what is NaNoWrimo? So if you've clicked on this channel and you have never seen a NaNoWrimo video before, or people keep talking or referencing NaNoWrimo but you don't know what it means, NaNoWrimo is an online challenge where you try and write 50,000 words in the 30 days of November. That green primer did nothing. So my experience with it, wow, this is really, really pale. I'm gonna regret this. I did my first NaNoWrimo in November 2011, which means that this year will be the 10th book that I've written during a November NaNoWrimo. I've checked the maths, I think I'm right. I could be wrong. That is something I bought to be a concealer for my face, and that doesn't work, does it? In that time, I have tried out lots and lots of different things, done huge amounts of mistakes, done all kinds of crazy stuff. I'm gonna say this, but it is not for bragging. I have actually won every year that I've attempted it. So this will be, hopefully, my 10th year of attempting NaNoWrimo and succeeding. For anyone who doesn't know, winning NaNoWrimo is not something that you do in competition with anyone else, because I've had this question at me in multiple times in my personal life. You win NaNoWrimo if you personally hit the 50,000 word goal. If you're quite new to writing and this seems incredibly daunting, there are 2 other sort of NaNoWrimo events that run, and they're called Camp NaNoWrimos. They happen in April and July. I haven't done those as much, but the thing I really like about those is you can set your own goal. You haven't got to hit 50,000 words. You can come out and say you want to do 10,000 words that month. If NaNoWrimo itself seems really, really daunting, you can always join in with a lot of this conversation and keep writing during November, but you don't necessarily have to hit the 50,000 word goal. You're not a failure if you don't hit the 50,000 word goal. I just need to say that because every year I hear people going, they're rubbish because they didn't manage this, what is in most cases an extremely lofty goal. Vampire. Shall I match the sofa? The other thing to note that you might hear people say or talk about are NaNoWrimo rebels. The idea of NaNoWrimo originally is that you would write a 50,000 word novel in November that you'd never drafted before. So it's completely new to you, and the whole idea of it is just to get out a first draft of something. I'm also aware the camera is not actually picking up what I'm doing with my face, so I'm going to come closer. Still probably won't pick it up, but we'll try. So the idea is that you just need to get out a draft. So it's going to possibly come out terrible. You need to just keep writing through it, and that's a big thing for NaNoWrimo. You just need to keep writing. So the idea of a NaNoWrimo rebel is someone who is writing a book that they either have already started and their aim is just to get another 50,000 words in that month, or it's a book that they have drafted before and maybe they're rewriting it. Basically anything outside of the traditional idea of what NaNoWrimo is supposed to be. But as I'm sure I will say multiple times in this video, you do you. I've had multiple years where I've decided to be a rebel, And I've also had multiple years where I've just been doing the quote-unquote basic idea of a first draft that I've never done before. I think I've rebelled more than I've done the traditional, just because I quite often, as I've said before in my sort of processy videos, I do a zero draft and then I completely rewrite again for a first draft. Having a NaNoWrimo there a year where I basically force myself to do some kind of drafting. In past years it's been that I do the zero draft one year and the next year I do the first draft, because for a while I wasn't writing in between NaNoWrimos. Not a makeup aficionado. Don't really know what I'm doing. What am I going to be doing for this year? What I'm doing this year will depend entirely on what happens this month, and that's kind of my problem with Milwordy at the moment, in that I don't know where I'm going because I don't know if I can hit the current month's goal. Existential crisis for another day. A lot of those going around at the moment. In October at the moment, I am currently drafting book 4 of my Space Pirates series, and I am currently trying to get it to a zero draft standard. Now, I'm pretty sure I've talked about this in my monthly vlog, but you won't have seen that yet. I am starting to think that potentially, because I'm this far into the series and I know the characters as well as I do, and I've already written first 3 books to zero draft standard and first draft standard, I'm kind of thinking the current book is coming out at more of a first draft. That's kind of interesting because it might mean that I have to do less drafts of these books. The plot also just seems a lot more fun, making me think I need to go back and look at the other 3 books and their plots and whether or not they're interesting. But that's another point. If I am able to finish drafting that this month, then next month for NaNoWrimo, we will be doing book 5. The idea is that I will outline book 5 this month, probably towards the end of the month, and then I'll be ready on November to just sort of hit the ground running and go for it. That's the plan, at least. And also, potentially, because of the Milwordy goal, which is more than the 50,000 word goal, outline book 6, which will then happen in December. Because of the way that the Milwordy is structured, and because I need to be writing more than a NaNoWrimo each month to hit the goal, the drafting months are becoming quite difficult, because I'm essentially trying to draft a book in a month consecutively for at least 3 months. Although a part of me is wondering whether I should just get all the way through all the 9 books, which is a bigger problem. We're going to solve that another time. Today is not a decision-making video. Today is just a chatty, get ready with me NaNoWrimo video. So let's not stress about it, Nikki. Let's not. I'm going to get a little bit into tips now. I am seeing a lot of things out there and a lot of it is such great advice. But as I said at the beginning of this video, not all advice that you hear, particularly for NaNoWrimo, is going to apply to you. It is an experience that you need to sort of just manage your way through. If you've never done NaNoWrimo before, take some of the advice with a pinch of salt. If you've done it and you know that what there's someone saying doesn't work for you, leave it. Move on, go on to something else. There's plenty of writing advice out there. The only piece of advice that I am going to say in this video could be, for the vast majority of people, is tell people what you're doing. Now, I don't mean tell every single person. I've heard some people say genuinely tell everyone in your life, and I'm like, you might not want to. You might be like me and you might want to hide your writing from most people, because that's what I do. People can know me and not know that I write. You need to tell the people in your life who are going to need to know. So people that are going to want your time, tell people you live with, absolutely, 100%. Tell your friends if they will want you in November that you might not be as available. Tell your family if they are the kind of people that you sort of see regularly. If you have any kind of partner or anything like that, tell them, because they're obviously going to want time from you. And it's not to say, I'm going away in November, no one's going to contact me, stop it. It's more to kind of say, I'm doing this massive goal and I'm doing it for me and I need some support. I need you to understand that if you ask for my time in November and I say I can't, I'm writing, that it isn't a slight on them. It is just that you are trying for this ridiculous goal. Let's face it, it's ridiculous. This is not going well. And to say that, you know, they might not be able to get huge amounts of your time, but also if you live with people, you have that conversation where I might need you to do a little bit more around the house, or it'd be really nice if one night you can just cook and then just bring it to me while I'm writing like a maniac. That would be grand. Particularly if you've got kids and you've got someone else in the house who can help look after them. I've not had that experience, but I know a lot of people rely on their partners and family members and anyone else that's around at the time to help them make sure they have the time to reach the NaNoWrimo goal. So that is the only tip that I will even remotely say could be universal. Tell people that want any of your time in November what you're doing ahead of you doing it, so that they kind of understand when you turn around and say, I really can't, I am so far behind. I need to sit down and do loads of writing this evening. Soz. Now, admittedly, I didn't do this that well with a lot of my friends the first few years of doing it. Although we were doing it in college, so we'd sit at some computer desks in college, which in the UK is like 16 to 18. There's a few of us that were doing it, and we just get distracted by the friends because you would. All I can tell is that I'm making it darker. I don't know if I'm making it better. I'm just making it darker. I should have done this next week because I've got a load of makeup that I've ordered because I've basically been missing it so much. And I'm worried that most of this makeup's probably gone bad over 9 months. So the first thing that I ever tried as like a whole month tip advice thing was the idea of front loading your month. Personally, and again, if you don't know, if you've never written a book, none of this is going to be something you know. You just have to try Nanowrimo and see. For me, I will slow down at week 2. Towards the end of week 2, most of week 3, I'm probably slowing down or stopping. This is a thing that I have had to try and learn to combat over the years. The first couple of NaNoWrimos I did, I literally wrote nothing in the middle 2 weeks and panicked. Don't recommend it. If you're trying to write a book outside of a monthly goal, and you essentially say, I'd like it done by the end of the year or something, you've got the time to kind of ponder it and think about it and really sort of work your way through with it. But if you're doing something like NaNoWrimo, you don't have that luxury. You kind of just have to keep writing. If you get to a point and it's difficult and you don't like it, you have to either push on or write another scene. Those are your options. Which again, not everyone likes. And then you might find, if you've never done NaNoWrimo before, that you try it for a year and go, oh my God, I can't do it, I hate it. Again, you're not any less part of the writers community if you find that NaNoWrimo just cannot work for you. And every year you log on to YouTube and in October, November, see people just going absolutely mad over it. Don't feel like if you can't do it or you've tried it and it just does not work for you in any way, shape or form, don't feel like you have to participate with all of this. Ultimately though, if you have done it a little while ago maybe and didn't work for you, and maybe your life circumstances have changed or you've been doing more writing recently, it's no harm in trying it again, because you can always stop. You can always bow out. You don't have to stick through the whole way, which is going to contradict one of my later points, because the only way I've managed it is by absolutely not letting myself stop. Okay, it's gone a bit purple. This is what I'm using. It is jet black. It's coming out purple. We'll work on it. The idea of front loading the month is the idea that the first week or first few days you write more than the daily goal. There are some amazing resources out there. I'll see if I can find any and put them in the description. There are some amazing like calculators or calendars that people have built where you essentially work your way through the month, and you do, I think it's like something like you start off doing something like 3,500 a day, which I know, sounds horrendous. But if the idea is really fresh to you and you're really motivated by a beginning of a book, if you really, really like writing the first act, you can get out so many words so quickly that the momentum just carries you through. And then the idea is you start really, really high at the beginning of the month, and every day the goal gets lower and lower. So by the time you get to the end, you literally have to write like one word on the last day for some of them, which one year was absolutely amazing for me. I basically followed the idea of it. I didn't follow the calendar exactly because, as I'll say later on, I don't write every day. I can't write every day. It's not possible for me. So having sort of calendar telling me exactly what to do made a lot of sense in my head, but it wasn't possible to carry on through because I just could not fundamentally write every day. If you're someone who knows from previous writing experience that after a little while of a story you kind of lose some momentum, I would really recommend trying to write more in the first portion of the month, so that at least if you don't write anything in week 2 and week 3, you have something. So my first NaNoWrimo ever, I literally wrote 25,000 words in the first week. I wrote nothing for the next 2 weeks because I got complacent and I was like, oh, I've got plenty of time. I can procrastinate. Everything's fine. I've got so much college work to do. And I didn't write again until the last 2 days. And my poor, long-suffering partner, who's seen me through every single NaNoWrimo I've done now, he was sat in my room on the last day, or maybe the penultimate day, while I was trying to write 25,000 words in 2 days, and I somehow managed it, but it was horrendous. I do not recommend that in any way, shape, or form. Don't do it. Try and avoid it if you can. I need to blend the shit out of that. Right. Okay, my third point, and I've kind of touched on this, but I will touch on it again. NaNoWrimo is a great time to see if you can write every day. Not everyone's life will work with this, and not everyone's brain will work with this. But it's a good opportunity to see if you possibly can write every day. Because the idea of NaNoWrimo for most people is you have a set daily goal. And that, for a lot of people, can be a really good motivator. I am not one of those people. As we have established by my previous anecdote of the 25,000 words at the last 2 days, I don't get motivated by having a daily goal. I get motivated by the overall goal. The other side of the coin is this is a really good opportunity for you to work out what days can you write? For how long can you write that day? That kind of stuff. So for me, personally, at the moment, Monday nights, Tuesday nights, and Thursday nights are fantastic days for me to sit down and do writing. I can usually manage an hour. Sometimes I can manage 2 if I'm feeling really spicy that day. But it's one of those things of like, I now know there's certain days that I can do. I think we're going to leave that be for a moment. We're going to go into face, I think. NaNoWrimo is really interesting to see if you can write every day, but also it's really interesting to see if you can write every other day or certain days that work and certain days that don't. The idea that you have to write every day is a complete myth. Do not think that you have to write every day, and if you don't write every day, you're a failure. None of that shit, please. You are not a failure if you don't follow common writing advice. It's just not the thing. Are you writing? Cool, you succeeded. Keep going. That is genuinely all you have to do to be a writer, is just be writing things. This is coming out. Like, the face makeup is coming out a lot better on camera than in my mirror. My eye makeup is very, very different on camera. And I don't think it's as good. But you know, I know there's plenty of people out there that do write every day for NaNoWrimo. And you guys are incredible. I don't understand how you do it. My brain just can't do it. I can't do it every single day, particularly if I aim for a big day. So if I have a weekend day and I want to write a load of words, there's a very, very good chance I'm going to get kind of like a writing hangover. So the next day, I'm not going to write anywhere near as much. So just bear in mind that if you want to front load or you want to do like big days rather than constant days, you can try that too. I'd be very interested to see if anyone can do NaNoWrimo with 5-10k days rather than every day. Ooh, that might be a temptation for next year. You'll also hear a lot in sort of the NaNoWrimo circles. I am putting way too much of this on my face. But you know, I'm not going out, I'm just doing this for me now, so. You'll hear a lot in the NaNoWrimo circles of the conversation between a planner, a pantser, or a plantser. I have come to prefer like Brandon Sanderson's way of looking at it, which is a sort of an outliner and a discovery writer and a mix of the two. I'm yet to find a good word for the mix of the two that isn't the plantser, which I'm not fond of, mainly because that's where I sit and I just don't like the word. I don't like saying it. In case you don't know, a planner or an outliner is someone who has to outline everything. It varies per person, but they are more likely to sit and do full-blown outlines, do character-based studies where they look at the characters in a bit more detail before they start, where they might do some world building, and for some people that can take months, and that's the reason why a lot of people do Preptober, which is the idea of any preparation that you want to do, you do it in October. So you work out your outline or your characters or anything like that. Your pantsers are people that start on November 1st with a vague idea. And I have done that many, many, many years. Again, don't let anyone tell you you have to outline for NaNoWrimo. You don't. You just have to be prepared that what's going to come out will go all kinds of places in the month. And that can be kind of fun. If you want to outline, I would definitely say try and take some October to go through and do it. And if you're a plantser, like me, I cannot these days, although I used to, and I'm pretty sure I could if I tried, but I don't enjoy anymore going in completely blind. I also find that if I absolutely outline to the nth degree absolutely everything that could happen in the book, not only do I spend a lot of time doing that, I don't stick to those kind of outlines. I know I don't. What I end up doing in those situations is spending maybe 2 or 3 months outlining a whole thing to go off-piste. And that doesn't seem as much fun for me. What I do now is kind of a vague outline. I have all my scenes with kind of an idea of what's in them. There is occasions where I run into my partner and I'm like, I really dislike Past Nikki. Because Past Nikki just said that this scene has to be a moment between these two characters. She didn't tell me what the moment had to signify, where in the plot were they going to find the time to have the conversation. Or I can have so many rants about Past Nikki when I'm writing or outlining. It's just terrible. Whatever you want to do in terms of outlining or planning, or even as a pantser, if you want to spend some time this month working out who your main character is, or you know what your first big plot point might be that you want to work up to. There's no harm in doing any of that this month. So yeah, or if you're writing in a sort of fantasy world, maybe see if you can find a name generator or something, because you don't have time in NaNoWrimo to get hung up. You really don't. You can put placeholders in. You can say, you know, best friend in brackets and just have that go on for a while. Oh, and also, if you're doing anything where you've got any kind of like royal family system or nobles, give people titles and long names. Because what happens is when somebody walks into a ballroom, right, and you have to announce them, because that's, you know, what you do when you've got royals and things, you have to have someone by the door who goes, this is so-and-so. You can put 6 words rather than 1. Just gonna say. There are ways of slightly cheating the system. That is one of my favourite ones, which I don't have as much of in my current book. I do have a royal family, but they tend to just go by their main names and maybe at max 1 or 2 words for a title, and I kind of regret it, because I like giving them long titles anyway. But in NaNoWrimo it's really useful to get a few extra words in. This is where I'm going to have lots of regrets. My next point is going to potentially annoy a bunch of people. I know, I'm aware. I, for years, never really had tips or tricks or things that I did or any of these things that I'm talking about. What I did have was stubbornness. And I feel like if I keep this channel going for any length of time, that's going to become apparent. Once I tell myself I am doing something, I am doing it. Which is why we had the 25,000 word in 2-day panic, because I had to finish it. I am not going to say this as a absolute fantastic tip for people, but get a bit stubborn. If it's something you genuinely want, get a bit stubborn, because the person you are now, with the idea, with the sort of drive to start, is not going to be the same person you are week 2, week 3, week 4. There's something very, very strange that happens to people's brains when they try and write this many words in this length of time. You will go a bit mad, but there is something to say for being really, really stubborn about it and just, I'm going to hit this goal, whether I like it or not. Now, that is not to say ignore all self-care this month. Don't do that. I've done that before as well. That's not good. You still need time to sort of stop and recharge. Sometimes you just need to step away from it. But get a bit stubborn. This is something you want to do. Ultimately, there's plenty of people out there that can help you or hinder you. But really, the only person that cares whether you hit this goal to any real extent is probably you. I am now going to do eyeliner, so I may stop talking, because I'm not sure I can talk and do this at the same time. I'm also not sure when I edit this video down whether you're actually going to be able to see any of the makeup that I am doing, because I'm doing it on a shitty little phone camera rather than a real camera. I'm going to say something, and as someone who is, due to her stubbornness and stubbornness alone, has always managed to win, this might come across as a little bit ingenuine, but I have done a lot of these kind of NaNoWrimos with people, and I feel like this is a really important thing that I think I've said already in this video, but I'm going to say it again. Not hitting this goal is not a failure. Not winning NaNoWrimo is not failing. In my head, there's some issues with referring to the hitting the goal as winning NaNoWrimo, but we'll put that aside. If you are in a situation where during November you don't hit the 50,000 words, but you write more than you would normally write in a November, you win. I don't care what anyone says, you win. If you don't hit the 50,000 words, but you learn something about the way that you write, you win. If you don't hit the 50,000 words, but you develop a regular writing habit that you then can carry on, or you come up with a way that you can write really well, or over a week you can get in so many words, you win. It's a journey of self-discovery is writing. It's all about learning what you can and can't get away with doing. And apparently I can't get away with doing eyeliner today. I spent years trying to get this to work. You know what? You can't see it on the video anyway. Kind of at a point where I'm thinking, that'll do. Like, this is not massively vampire yet, but I've got some interesting lip colours. My biggest bugbear with this all is that people come away from it feeling like a failure if they don't hit the 50,000 words. But if you take this as an opportunity to learn about yourself and about your writing, you'll get so much more out of it than if you're just like, if I don't hit the 50,000 words, it's over. I also genuinely believe that if you focus on anything else while you're doing NaNoWrimo other than the word count goal, you have got a much better chance of actually hitting the word count goal than if you're just spending the whole time going, what words am I on, what words am I on, what words am I on? But if you're like, oh, I'm going to see if I can sit down tonight and just write for 2 hours, like in sprints maybe, or the whole 2 hours. I don't know, I'm not you. I would never attempt to do a whole 2 hour through, but some people must do out there. I'm going to try and do that tonight and see if that works and see if it happens for you. Oh, you know what might make this more vampy? Let's contour. This will be interesting. This is not a Halloween tutorial in any way, shape or form. I'm just going to put that out there too. If you are someone that thinks writing with people would be really useful, when you join onto the NaNoWrimo website, it asks you like a region, and then in that region there are MLs, which I never remember what that actually stands for, but there are people that are essentially there to organise events, and I don't know how it's going to work this year with a lot of people, but I'd recommend having a look on your area, seeing what people are writing. I'm about to say that you can use the website to find people, but it's been a hot minute since I tried, and the last couple of years the website's kind of been losing some functionality. But there used to be like a sort of regional forum that you could go to and just talk to the people that were doing it in your area, or at least a section of the forum for just your area. I think I might do fake eyelashes. I might regret this. This is where it could all very much go tits up, because I have not put fake eyelashes on in a very long time. Maybe, kind of. I might very well regret these and take these off. The way that they've turned like down the bottom and up at the front, I'm not going to question it. It makes me look a little bit like a muppet, but we're gonna deal. I don't know why I did the eyelashes before I finished the rest of my face. All in all, one of the things that I really wanted to emphasise with this video, and I'm hoping I can save myself in editing. One of the things that I really, really wanted to emphasise is that NaNoWrimo, if you're anyone who wants to write a book, or you just want to try and do writing as a hobby or as a career, any of that, it is a fantastic thing for that. It is really, really good for you to sit down and spend a month kind of focusing on your craft. Spend a month kind of focusing on what you want to write, taking the time out to do it, learning about yourself and how you write. Just realised I did not do my eyebrows. If there's one thing that I want someone who's new at NaNoWrimo to take away from this video, it's you don't have to win this. You don't have to hit 50,000 words. The goal is optional, and the main thing is that you find a way to have fun with it. At the end of the day, what you decide as success is entirely up to you. If you think you have to hit the 50,000 words, I'm not going to be able to convince you otherwise, I'm sure. But if you can find like mini goals or mini things that you can hit, like I'm doing with my Milwordy goal, I've got essentially a minimum that I'd really, really like to hit, and obviously the million, and I've got a middle one as well. Do we do black? We're gonna do black. Screw it. I've got so many liquid lipsticks out in front of me of like reds and like deep purples and stuff, but no, we're gonna do it. It's Halloween. When else do I get away with wearing black liquid lipstick? Let's do it. Might regret this. My memory card filled up, so this might look a little different. And I'm very much regretting the eyelashes because I should have trimmed them. I knew that from the start. They're poking me in the eye and they're not entirely laying right. They look a bit weird, so I might take them off in a minute. But got the black lipstick on. This is now entirely up for editing Nikki to make sense of my ramblings, which will be interesting. If you've watched this whole video through, firstly I apologise, and secondly thank you very much. Do let me know in the comments if you're trying NaNoWrimo and whether this is like your first time or whether you're a veteran at this. If there's any questions anyone has about NaNoWrimo, also pop that in the comments box. I am not a all-knowing NaNoWrimo person, but I've been around the block, so I can answer some questions hopefully. Thank you for joining me today, and I will see you in the next one. Seriously, I should never do eyelashes. Why do I do eyelashes? Who knows? Actually, I might take them off. Ugh. Ugh. Oh, okay. I put them on because it looks better. Look at that. Look at the difference. My tiny little eyelashes versus these things. Oh. Okay. I am going now.